still crawls, flag still flies, mama still cooks, and God won't die. Dogs still hunt, men man up, a little bit of red juice runs in your blood. Yes sir, yes ma'am, handshake deal, right still rule, even in real. Three chords and the truth, they never gone nowhere. And I said old school still in out here. I said old school still in out here.
So last year we made the switch from using an A-frame blind to the MoMarsh Invisimans, and I wanted to kind of explain why. And there's not a lot of information out there on MoMarsh Invisimans. You can go to MoMarsh's website and you'll get some of their promotional videos. But if you're looking for just, hey, who's some guy that's used them and what do they think about them, there's not a lot of information out there. So when we made the move from the tangle-free A-frame panel blind to the MoMarsh Invisimans, we were just fortunate enough to live close enough to Max Prairie Wings, drive down there, and they've got them on display, and we could get in them and look at them. Well, I wanted to kind of explain why we did that and what the benefits are of each. So the A-frame blind, which we had a lot of good hunts out of, there are a lot of pros to it. I mean, we cooked breakfast in it while hunting ducks. We don't ever brush anything in very good, so we're probably the world's worst about actually brushing it in and making it look truly camouflaged with any blind. We're going to hopefully do different this year. We're going to be better this year, but the panel blind had some drawbacks we didn't like. You could hunt 3 out of the panel blind pretty good, and I think I had $600 or a little more invested in that tangle-free panel blind with the 2 panels, the thing that goes across the middle. And I didn't actually have the flaps that went on top. That'd have been, another couple $100 on the flaps on top. The problem was they were not very portable. They were okay if you had them on the front of a boat and you were able to boat in and then just step out of the boat into your hole. But if you had to walk or drag them, they were big, bulky, and heavy. They were not feasible. And last year in Arkansas, there was droughts in the early part of the season. It was really dry. So dry that the Game and Fish was tweeting out places that had water. Of course, everybody went there and ruined the places, and that was a mess. But so we had to get something that we could be a little more mobile with, that we could do some walking in, or carrying and walking with.
Is there remote control?
I don't know anything about it.
What's that thing?
And not, those panel blinds were just too big and bulky to walk with. So we ended up going with these MoMarsh Invisimans. And one of the main reasons we went with them, and they were fairly expensive compared to, I think they were $350 a piece. So you got to have some buddies that are willing to throw some money down on them, and so everybody can have one. Because if 2 of you have one and 1 person doesn't, it's probably not going to work out very well. I wouldn't advise that. But so the thing about them are these straps right here. These right here were a big selling point for us because we were able to actually put them on our back and walk with them. And we really kind of thought the stitches would break like everything else. You'd get a season or maybe a few months out of the stitches, and then they break because they're not heavy, but even backpacks with shells in them break. So we kind of thought this would be the same way. It hasn't. They've lasted, well, I guess we had them half a season, and we used them literally every hunt. Walking in with them, we started stacking them on our wagon for a little while, trying that method out, and that worked pretty good too. But they're really engineered to the best of the best. So a little bit about that. You got your backpack on. When you get to where you're going, you just take it off. You unclip these, unclip the middle, and then the legs just fold out. The legs will fold out and lock. These legs will fold up and lock. From here, you've got the pads that allow you to not sink in the mud, which was important. The legs were adjustable, so we were in some hunts where we're in waist deep water. we're able to adjust these legs to where we're waist deep water, and we're basically just kind of leaning back into these with our waist in the water. So that was really an awesome feature, that you can adjust these legs while you're in them. So from here, stand it up. And a lot of times what we would do before the sun came up, while we were kind of getting things set up, is we would just use this as a table, set the jerk rig up on. We'd set our backpacks on them while we were waiting, doing some other stuff, throwing decoys and stuff. And then at the end, we would use this, get it ready. So once you've got it flipped up, you got your legs like you like them, and you can hunt with these with the legs down. If you're in a field, or if you want to lay in the dry, you can fold these up and just lay in it without the legs flipped up. We never did that, but we don't hunt dry fields. So anyway, unclip those. From here, these open up, and you've only got a few things you got to adjust. You've got this right here. There's a back bar that folds down right here. You're going to take that back bar, kind of hard to do with one hand, and you've got to flip it over. And that's kind of what you're going to be leaning on anyway. So you flip it over. From here, once you flip that over, you've only got to do that bar down here. That's your angle of your back bar to keep it from falling back down. And there's push pins that you push through, which is way easier when you've got cold hands and gloves on than having to actually, if I could line them up, way easier using these push pins than anything that you have to do with your fingers. And you've got that one, and then you've got two more. One up top here, and this is your flap, so you got to kind of find the angle that it's at. Same deal, take a push pin, line it up, push it through, and then you've got a push pin down here on the bottom. All right, so that's one side. One side is set up. I'll go ahead and get the other side set up. All right, so that's it. You've got 6 push pins you got to do. You've got a mesh area here where your face is. You can adjust these, so if you want a little more room for your face, you can spin these out and it'll rest on those and give you a little bit more of a room inside here, if you will. So you're going to be laying down like that. You've got handles that you'll grab to pull it back over. Really cool feature about this that I didn't even know it had until we got it home, started looking at them. You've got cup holders, shell holders, you've got holders, pockets all in here on both sides for everything. You can put in keys and phone and all that stuff in here, which is pretty awesome. Another feature about this is you don't have as big a footprint because your legs aren't. You don't have another half down here for the legs. Your legs just hang in the water. And if you brush it in right, which again, we're not great at that, your brush will come right in front of your legs, so your legs won't be seen. You kind of look like just a beaver hut or a little island out in the middle of the water. Another great feature that, again, the panel blind, Tangle Free panel blind didn't give us. You've got storage back here. So back here, you've got this huge pouch that you can put stuff in. And for a while, we would just carry shells in here. We'd throw a box of shells in here, or duck calls in here, throw this on and go. We wouldn't take a backpack with all the gloves and headlamps and all that stuff. We just wore headlamps out there and carried that stuff in there. Zippers have lasted the whole time. We hadn't had any zipper issues on all 4 of them. You can also access that pouch here, so if you just want to roll over, you can reach in there and grab your another box of ammo or whatever you might need. They're lighter than the panel blinds, but again, you're only hunting one person per MoMarsh, so it's not going to be as great. If everyone's got that buddy that just wants to show up and brings the gun and ammo and nothing else, you're going to have some hard conversations with that person because they don't contribute. If they don't have something like this to get in, it's going to be tough for them to hunt with you when you switch to these. Now, if you're lucky and you have someone that doesn't go all the time, but they buy one, hopefully they'll let you, let another buddy borrow it, and you can use it. But these things are awesome. There's so many options with them, so many places you can hunt. You think Arkansas is just all flooded timber, but there's a lot of marshes and swamps, and these are great for them. Again, dry fields. I'm gonna see if I can put this down flat on the ground. So to lay it flat, the only thing I've seen to make it comfortable is you want to put these four, I don't know what you call them, little circle disc things. You want to lay them flat. So now you're laying on a flat, dry ground. When you lay in this, cross your legs here. Your legs will be crossed underneath you. You'll be sitting Indian style, and you can pop up out of here and shoot them. So I don't get paid anything by MoMarsh, obviously, and I love these blinds. We're going to do a better job of brushing them in this year. Fixing to do that here in just a little bit, and they're easily packable. They're portable. We've walked miles with them on our back, dragging a wagon with decoys and stuff. So it's a really cool tool that I encourage anyone that duck hunts to get into.
Did you get him? Did you wake me up? That's awesome. That's awesome. Love it. I grabbed my gun.
He did. He pops up and looks around.
I was expecting to see him fall.
Sorry, Kennel. Stay.
It's worth it. I was enjoying myself.
You were enjoying yourself. You were snoring.